This one says to keep them busy, like walks, bike rides, and other physical activities. That is to keep them away from drugs and alcohol, because like take up boxing or kickboxing or something like that, because they're going to have a lot of anger, they're going to have a lot of frustration, because they're not going to know what's wrong with them, they're not going to know how to deal with it. So you're going to want to keep them involved in something so that they have a way to throw out that energy and stuff like that, because it's going to kind of balance it out, counteract it. And encourage them to keep in contact with family and friends. You want them to have a life outside and not be excluded yet again. So I think, oh no, there's more. Oh no, that's you. I lied.
We're gonna do dealing with anger and violence now. The way you can do this is you can agree to time out at any time. Discussions
to stop at the precise moment when you guys are in a
Sorry,
timeout.
I didn't take these notes.
It's okay. When you're in a timeout moment, as soon as you guys agree to have that timeout, the discussion stops then.
Yeah.
You stop, you don't talk, you don't say anything else.
Don't say any more about it.
That way, you're ending it at that so that you guys can come back later and discuss it. Go ahead.
Signal to end the timeout, which pretty much
Self-explanatory.
Agree on places where to go for a timeout away from each other.
That is also for communication.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to just bounce and then not know where you are, and that's just going to cause so much more anxiety.
Even if it's, going into a separate room, just take a time to be apart and, think about it.
Well, also go with that. Here it says, for yourself, because you're going to go through a lot yourself. Here it says to find a quiet place. That's another way to do this.
It is kind of hard to find a quiet place around this house.
Oh, yeah, with kids.
With 2 kids. Or 3 kids.
But the thing is, you find a quiet place, and when stuff like this happens, it can be your escape. It can be your time to sit back and think and work things through. Go bowling. Don't drink. Because you go drink, it's going to make you vent and steam on it and just think that much more on it. So
also take turns discussing the problem. No interruptions.
Listen.
Yes, just listen. That's the main thing. Just listen. Let them talk. Then you can have your time to talk and
because
not
they'll
interrupt.
respect the fact that listen.
Don't use you sounds.
Don't use you. You
sounds accusing.
Yeah, if you say, well, you said this, don't use that, because they're going to automatically start pointing a finger back at you because you said something. So therefore,
don't accuse.
Just say I. Say I think, I feel, like they taught you in class all the time.
Work on solutions. Just work out the problem. If it's fighting, like we said, take a time out. Avoid fighting with your spouse.
Especially when you come back to verbalize a solution. You guys, it's going to take practice with this too. It's going to take time, because a lot of times in families or relationships, you're going to automatically want to come back and butt heads. So that's why you make sure you spend as much time away from each other during timeout time, so you have time to actually collect your thoughts. Write them down. Writing down is always a helpful way to do things. Write down what you thought at that moment and then forget about it. Go do something so that when you come back to talk,
keep a journal.
Yes.
Just of your thought.
That way when you guys do come back to talk, you have it written down. You have exactly what you wanted to say at that moment, and then that's it. It'll be easier to come over, cross, or whatever.
Also, be clear and to the point and positive. Yeah. Which means just get right down to the knit and grit. I mean, don't
point
around the bush.
Yeah, don't point, don't say, just say, look, I feel like this, I think this needs to be done, and I want to know how you feel. And that's when they'll say, well, I feel like this, blah, blah. And then you should be able to come to a solution quick after that.
And it's just, you want to stay positive and have positive thoughts. Don't go into the conversation with a bad attitude, because that's just going to cause a fight.
Yeah, or don't go into it to a losing manner. Don't go in feeling bad. Don't go in being like, this isn't gonna work anyway, because you gotta stay positive. You have to look at the bright side of everything. You gotta think they're dealing with this, but yet you are too.
And we stress, listen to them.
That's the key point there. Another thing is ask about their feelings. Make sure that, like, if they're telling something to you and they can't exactly express it, say, look, were you feeling worried? Were you feeling scared? Were you feeling anxious? Make sure that they can't know that you are listening and you can communicate. Ask them how you can help. That's always a big thing. And no advice.
Unless they ask, don't give them advice.
Yeah, because then you're just throwing stuff out, and it's just going to cause another fight because they're not going to like something that you're going to say.
And some people don't want your advice. I mean, they don't want to take your advice into consideration. They just want to think what they want to think.
It's like working in a restaurant.
Yeah.
Most of the time, they just want to be heard. They don't want...
Exactly.
They don't want to hear what you've done or what you're going to do.
Or your point of view or anything like that.
And the last part of this is don't forget yourself. We understand that your soldier's going through something, and you will forget about yourself because your main concern is trying to help them and fix everything for them. But you got to remember, you're just a part of this. So you need to remember, don't feel guilty. Never feel guilty about it, because what happens to them isn't your fault. You can't do anything to change that. See a therapist too. They're going to be seeing a doctor. You got to think you're dealing with it too. So it's best for you to go to somebody and seek help.
Or do a family therapist. That would help too. That way you've got both the spouses or both the family members there, and they can discuss right there in front of the therapist.
Yeah, but also I think it's also good to do it separately too. That way you both can talk.
Yeah, have different sessions as well.
Yeah. Remember, be positive. Can't stress that enough. Be positive. Any negativity is going to make the situation harder on both of you. Stay in contact with friends. Have your outside life. You know, you're going to need it. It's going to be your stress reliever. It's going to be kind of like your quiet time. Which brings us to have a quiet place. Go off somewhere, even if it's just going and sitting on a pier or walking or whatever. It's a time for you to collect your thoughts and relax, and remember constantly saying to yourself, I gotta be positive. It's not my fault. Another one is regular exercise and eat healthy. You know, when you wake up in the morning and you go for a run, just a random run, you didn't plan it, or you're eating better and you always feel better, it's gonna keep you positive. It's statistically proven that regular exercise and eating healthy is gonna help you.
And also, you know, exercising with your spouse or your family member. Going to the gym together is a great idea.
Yeah, it helps you both.
Me and my husband are planning on, when he gets back, going to the gym together and him training me and getting me toned up and everything.
It's a good thing you both can do to help relieve stress. Well, thanks guys for listening, and just remember, be positive. And for all the soldiers out there, stay safe.
We hope that we have helped you with understanding PTSD.
Ready?
Yeah. 2, 3. We miss you,
Sergeant Bentley.